Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Today on Milanese Math, we're going to be talking about how to add and subtract decimals. And as always, if you want to follow along with the handout that we're using, you can find it at the first link in the description below. So as we dive right in, if you haven't watched my tutorial on how to add and subtract whole numbers, you might want to do that first because this process is very similar. So I'll try to remember to link that video below as well. But the first thing I always do with my students is just to get them warmed up, we do some comparisons of less than, greater than, or equal to, because it kind of helps put us in the right mindset to do the addition and subtraction. So how would 14.25 compare to 14.253? Well, 14.25 is less than 14.253, okay? And what about 5.2 compared to 5.0891? Well, this number is actually larger, and the reason I know that, a lot of people would look at that and think, well, the second number looks larger, there's a bunch of digits after that. That's true, but just start at the beginning. 5 compares to 5, those are the same. How about 2 compared to 0? 2 is bigger than 0, so it doesn't matter how many other numbers you string out after that, the 5.2 is going to be the bigger number. And similarly, look at these two. How would those two compare? Those are actually equal. And the reason is because you could put as many zeros after this as you want. It doesn't change the value of it. So once you put those extra zeros in there, it's kind of obvious that they have the same value. Why does that matter? Well, because I want you to be taking a look at that when we talk about how to add and subtract decimals. Let's just jump straight in with number 4. I'm going to put this extra 0 here right off the bat. And I do that because a lot of times it messes with students if they don't physically see a number there. But once you drop that 0 in, kind of like how we did in numbers 1, 2, and 3, kind of helps you visualize what's going on. All you're doing is adding straight down. So 0 plus 1 is 1. 3 plus 9 is 12, which I'm going to write the 2 and carry the 1, just like we did when we added whole numbers. Now in this column, I have to do 1 plus 5 plus 3. So 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 3 is 9. And then 4 plus 5 is also 9. And I'm going to drop that decimal straight down below right where it goes. So the final answer would be 9.921. Again, this process is so similar to adding and subtracting whole numbers that's why I kind of recommend you go back and watch that tutorial as well. What if we had 3 numbers that we wanted to add? Well, you still just add straight down. So I'm going to use a little bit of mental math here, but 5 plus 9 is 14, plus 3 is 17. I'm going to carry the 1. Then I've got 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17, carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 2 is 12, plus 7 is 19, carry the 1. And then 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4. So I've got 4977. And then since I stacked my decimal points and all the place values in the correct position, I can just drop that decimal straight down. We'll call it 49.77. Okay, number 6. You can see that looks like they're not matched up. That's because there's technically a 0 right here. And if it makes you feel better, you might want to go ahead and fill that in as well. Now, pay attention, this is a subtraction problem, but the process is the same. Just like when we added and subtracted whole numbers, you're going to do the same thing here. 8 subtract 0 is going to be 8. 7 subtract 4 is 3. 5 subtract 3 is 2. We can't do 1 subtract 2, so I'm going to come over here and borrow a group of 10, which will bump this 1 up to an 11. So 11 subtract 2 is 9, and then 7 subtract 1 is going to be 6. Okay, so then if I drop my decimal point straight down, I'm going to have 692.38. Okay, one more like this, just so you can kind of get the hang of it. Again, this is going to be a subtraction problem. Looks like I've got everything stacked correctly. I can't do 5 subtract 7 because that would put me into the negatives. So to fix that, I'm going to come next door and... Sorry, let me fix that there. Okay, I'm going to come next door and borrow a group of 10. We'll turn that 5 into a 15. 15 subtract 7 is 8. So here I've got 3 subtract 3 is 0. 2 subtract 1 is 1. And 9 subtract 9 is 0. Now you do need to include this one because it's to the right of the decimal point. So you would want to include that. And if you want to, you can also put the 0 over here from 0 minus 0. So the final answer there would be 0.018. And even though this column right here, that 9 minus 9 is 0, go ahead and list that 0 because it's a placeholder to the right of the decimal. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause right there and let you finish these ones up. Hopefully this video was helpful on how to add and subtract decimals. If it was, consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.